Here now to break down why we must put a stop to this abuse of power before it's too late. Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School, Alan Dershowitz. Professor, just very quickly on the 175. So there's all these, the original was 350, then it became 450 because of interest. Here's my question. Trump posts $175 million. Are they going to pay him if he wins the appeal? Are they going to pay him interest?
They should. This is an unconstitutional fine. The Eighth Amendment applies. It prohibits excessive fines. When it's the state that's imposing the fine, it's covered by the Eighth Amendment, in my view. Some scholars disagree. But I do think that the message has been sent by the appellate courts that the amount that was made by the initial judge was too high. Reducing the bond suggests that the fine will be reduced as well. But any fine is too great here because, you know, there was no harm. Nobody was hurt. This was part of the Get Trump. I mean, I entitled my book Get Trump. I didn't make that title up. That was Letitia James and that was Bragg, both campaigning on the promise to get Trump. And then we have Jack Smith, who tells the court we have to have a quick, speedy trial, much quicker than usual, because we have to get a conviction before the election because we want to influence the election. This is so clearly election interference that should be prohibited by the bar, by the courts, and by the American public.
Professor, one of the other stories that's floating around right now is one of the judges in the 4 criminal trials that may be taking place over the next couple of months put a gag order on Trump. Trump is, you can't gag the guy. You know, you're going to gag him. My question is, are gag orders constitutional, especially when these things are unprecedented? Aren't you allowed to question a ridiculous charges that they're bringing against them?
This is the weakest charge I've ever seen in my 60 years of practicing and teaching criminal law. It's a made-up case. There's nothing to it at all. But there may be a conviction because it's New York, and in New York, they'll convict a ham sandwich if it has Trump's name on it. The case should have been moved out of New York City into Rockland County or Staten Island or some other place where there's a chance to get a fair trial. But gag orders are presumptively unconstitutional because they involve prior restraint. And the First Amendment doesn't permit prior restraint. There's a narrow area where you can have a gag order where you're going to disclose evidence that shouldn't be disclosed or you're going to tamper with juries. But here's a case where this judge is making a decision helping his own daughter. What could be more of a conflict? And wrongly doing so, this young woman who is an adult and works for a political Democrat company that represents Adam Schiff, the man who headed the Judiciary Committee efforts to impeach Trump, will benefit financially if Trump is convicted and will lose financially if Trump is acquitted. So he certainly has the right to make that public. He has the right to defend himself in the court of public opinion, more so because this is New York and it's a rigged case, essentially, and he's entitled to do that. And I hope his lawyers appeal the gag order, and I hope they appeal the recusal order.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it there, Alan. We agree with you. I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, there's some reports that that same law firm was also working with Kamala Harris as well. We'll look into that. I'm not saying it's fact. I'm just hearing that, folks. Anyway, Alan Dershowitz, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.